let's color some little more on this awesome, cute, weird cuties from me. Oh, I thought this was a white, but it is not. Well, isn't that a good beginning? Let's correct it right away. I always start using some white on the parts I want to keep really white. Mostly the two areas with the nose and the tip of her nose, and a small piece in the middle of the bridge of her nose. Something in the corner of the eyes, just a little bit. And we are going to leave it as it is now. It is a pretty dark grayscale. So we are going to adjust our colors to it. Now I am using a blank rose from Caran luminanace. The ones I will use again today. It's a 581. It's a beautiful color, and I made this round shape on her chin, and I also will do the same. I will add some here. Here we always have the most lightest areas in the face, and although it's a dark grayscale, I am still going to try to make it a little bit lighter. I see a little red stain, something that is come off of my pencils coloring the girl, so I erased it. I use a electrical razor. That's a very handy thing to color, to correct your mistakes. So it's from Durant. I think it's a very useful thing to have. Basically, I am starting to look again to the darkest and the lightest colors. I have set my areas I wanted to keep very light. So now I will go in with my skin tones. This is the 745, a warm earth shade. I think it works perfect as one of the darker tones for your skin. Here underneath hair, you always have the darker spot. It's always there, so don't be afraid to use some of the darker colorings, color pencils for it. I think it's going to be some day that I'm going to mix up all my words, so I will try to do that to a minimum and try not to confuse you too much. So here you probably have seen that we have lots and lots of gray, so we are going to use it also there. And here at the corners of her eyes, you always have that spot where you can use darker colors. So let's do that here too. And now I will start coloring from the outside to the inside, mixing in a little lighter color, also a beautiful color, the 741. I think Caran luminanace has excellent skin tones. For me, they are way better than other pencils, but I know it depends on who you ask. It has to do with your personal opinion, but for me they are still way favorite. I am coloring on Canson 1557. I think it's a wonderful piece of paper, especially when I'm using this with my pencils I am using now. It has a very light grain, and it makes blending very easy with the caran d'Ache luminance. So I use this paper a lot. That's the upside on printing your own pages. You can always choose a better paper. You don't need to, of course, but it is sometimes very helpful to use some really decent paper. If you are watching this video and you are living in Belgium or the Netherlands, we have an online web shop in the Netherlands that's called Every Color. And I buy lots of my art supplies there because they always tell you in their own words what you are buying and what you can do with it. So that makes it sometimes so much easier to choose something like paper or, well, so maybe you can check it out. It's very easy to see there what paper you can use, and they also have cheaper papers. They are also excellent for coloring. So if you are living in the Netherlands, check it. You're probably wondering, what am I doing now? I'm going to blend. I have a sandpaper and a blending stump. I put my finger on it. I'm going to clean the stump. You can see on the other side, maybe there's still a little bit blue on it. If I would use it on a skin tone, I would end up with a blue stain on the forehead, and that's not what I want. And I am blending with a liquid solution. Most of the time I use Gamsol. This is Gamsol in a zested bottle. Well, that's also a very good brand. And maybe a good tip, always place your bottle in a cup. I keep saying it because the chance you tip your bottle over is extremely big. I've done that several times and, well, it's no fun. So I finally came up with this very easy trick to put it in a cup. And now I can't tip it over anymore. So I'm going to blend this. I could have blended also with my pencils, but this is faster, and it's also a very handy tip if you are started coloring yourself and you are not so very skilled yet. It makes it a little bit easier. It does not have to be so perfect, and you can still end up with a very pretty coloring. So I think it's always a fun thing to show. But of course I try to color it as good as I can, but it's not a big deal if it's not completely perfect. So as you can see, I am working my way down again onto the colors from dark to light, and I will show you what we are going to do. It's a little bit of a small detailed head, so always have to pay more attention. On the other hand, if you are a beginner, it's easier because, well, it's small, but you have to pay attention for the small details. Keep your pencil tip sharp and you will get a long way by doing that. Here you have the nose. There's always some shading there, always. So it's always flowing over from the dark area. Here you have her nostrils, you stop there and stay away from the inside. We are not ready to color that piece. We always want to try and create lots of differences between the lightest pencil and the darkest pencil. So sometimes you have to be very careful not to color that away. I've lightened it up now to the 872, a lighter color, and let's color some more. I know you probably start thinking, whoa, that is really looking very dark. You can see it on the other cute girl here. She's already finished. I've colored the hair. Now it doesn't look so dark anymore. You can always place your hand on it and you can see that it is almost the same color as your own hand. So it's a good thing to know, because when I started coloring portraits, my skin tones were always on the lighter side, because well, I was a little bit scared of using darker colors. So maybe it's a good thing to know that you can do it. Let's fill this part up with a light color. Even use some of my pink white, because we do not want to lose this area. Here we have always two small lighter areas on her nose. It's basically, you have always three light balls. I will show it. You have this one on the nostril. Mostly I do it with a light color, something like this or an ivory. And you have this spot on the nostril, and then you have the big spot here on the top of her nose. Well, it's a stupid drawing, but you get the I think you understand what I'm trying to say. Three small dots, dot here, and some half moon shapes here, and then we will be fine. I am blending them all in. I will use some here. Here you also have an area that's always lighter. It sticks out a little bit, and parts that sticks out are always a little bit brighter than the rest. So if you start doing this and seeing this, you will do it automatically in every page you are coloring. So, and if you can't see it very well, look at a reference page. You can see how it looked like and try to do it yourself. I'm also working on another workshop. There I am actually working with a reference page, and I try to copy it. It's a great way of learning how to color, because you can see what colors are being used, and well, you can try to do it yourself. So I think that's an awesome way to learn how to color. Okay, let's blend a little bit. We want these areas to be white, so I'm going to blend this first, and I am working my way down up onto the darker parts, but first I'm going to color the lightest areas. Try to not rub it all over my brightest spots, and then slowly work my way down onto the darker colors. Use it a little bit as a pencil. If your tip isn't sharp enough anymore, put your finger on it again and well, help it a little bit by sharpening it. You can also use a nail file to do it. You have those large paper nail files. They are not so expensive, and they also work very well to sharpen and clean your blending stumps. So maybe that's also a tip. I'm blending this a little bit in. When I am coloring eyebrows, I always have a skin toned underlayer, and I'm coloring over it later for my eyebrows, because you cannot use one dark color because that's not natural. When you are going to do that, you are going to end up with large black caterpillars. And although you see them actually walking on the street, I do not think that is very pretty. So don't do that. Okay, it's looking a little bit strange now because we are missing some details. We are missing the side areas of her nostrils. Well, the eyes are not finished, so it is still looking a little bit weird. I have not colored that for a reason, because I still do not know what shade of hair she is going to have or what clothes she is going to wear. And because of it, I am waiting a little bit with those details. Like you can see on the other girl, I decided to use a orangey blush because, well, I think that is perfect with this puppet. So that's why I am waiting to do. Oh, it's always so complicated when I'm filming. The camera takes up so much of my sight, and well, there's nothing to do about that. But I always see things I could have done better when I am coloring without a camera. But I think you will probably understand why that is. Okay, this is relatively easy. There's not so much going on here, not so much details in these puppets. So if you are a beginner, it's relatively easy to color because, well, all the details are missing, like shoulder blades and, well, a neckline. There's lots of shading and dimples and folds and, well, lots and lots of details. They aren't there now, so it's very easy. I only colored the part under her neck a little bit darker and brightened it up towards her shirt. I'm not happy with this part. Let's see, can we change it a little bit? Yes, I think we can. Let's try it. I always keep talking about we. I can assure you I'm here all by myself. I do not know why I do that, but okay. I think this is better. You can already do the nostrils. Always be careful when you do that. Don't do this. Don't make a ball out of a nostril like this. You end up with a pig's nose. It's more like this. That's way better. So use a sharp tip and be gentle, because you do not have to put so much pressure on it. That is not necessary. The corner of her eyes are always pink or burgundy or some kind of red. Don't forget that. Small details makes all the difference. So for now we are going to leave her be, and let's color the skin tones. Then we can skip that and go over to the fun part. Her clothes and her hair are so much more nice to color, I think. You can get this page for free on our online magazine, We Create Color. Every month we are going to post lots and lots of new pages there. They are all for free. We also have crafting paper and crafting ideas. So if you are a creative person, everything about coloring you can find there. And like I said, also about crafting. I recently started designing crafting paper. I thought I would not like that, but it turns out it is actually fun to do. So I hope you will check us out. We Create Dreams at Facebook. And like I said, it's all free. So I hope you will check it out. We are doing workshops a lot. You can ask us everything. We are providing lots of knowledge to make coloring fun and more easy. So we like it so far. And every month we have lots and lots of new pages. And sometimes when I feel like it, I'm also adding pages throughout the week. So I'm also doing this with Dreamworldcoloring and with Wendy Danko. She is doing lots of videos also. And Corey is a creative person and also makes her own coloring pages. So we also have guests in our group. Nori Art Coloring is going to provide us with some pages, and Moonstone Ink does the same. So I think it's pretty special what we created. So I hope you think the same. Okay, enough about that. Now I don't know if you will see what I'm doing. I'm basically looking for the shades of gray. Here underneath the short, there we have the darkest parts. It's only logical. We will have that also here, you see. We could also give us some panties, that's also possible. And a fantasy coloring like this, you can almost do everything you want. I do decided one thing, and that's I am going to use a color palette that is a little bit toned down. I wanted to have a small vintage touch, so I will adjust my pencils to that. I think you will see what I mean when it is finished. Then it will be very obvious what I'm trying to say. But I always think ahead. Not too much, but a little. And I try to work my way on to the finish of the coloring by that idea. If you have trouble finding the right color palette, we also provide that in our groups, so maybe it will help you. Well, so I know lots of people find it complicated, so let's blend it, and then this cutie is almost done. I love coloring these detailed things because it's not very boring to color, because all those small parts, well, you can come up with a new idea. I always like that, lots of variation in one page and not only one thing. I do not think that is very attractive. Let's see, what are we going to do? I am going to go for a pinkish kind of color, like I said, in some toned down colors. Are they the same? Almost. And sometimes I have to look what I have. I am not going to go for the brightest colors, the brightest pinks. Let's see, do we have a dark one that will suit fine with what we are doing? It's always an unbelievable mess right beside me. It always is complete chaos. Other people, they have their coloring pencils ordered out very neatly. Well, I wish I was that way, but I'm not. It's always a mess, so I can't help myself. I will sharpen them. And I'm also very bad in coming up with a plan. I always start coloring and then I am, well, simply going to see what is going to happen. For me, that works best. So, if you're watching a video from me, you're always watching a little bit of chaos, so I hope you don't mind. Okay, let's use a little bit of pinkish white here where her head has the roundest shape, it's always on top. Or if you have curly hair, you will have it on lots of other pages. You always see this lighter areas because the light falls on that spot. So look at someone you can see right now and try to see if you can see that spot, and you probably can see it and you understand what I mean. If you have curly hair, you have it a lot. It's way more complicated to color than straight hair. And use lots of colors, because if you use only one or two, you're going to end up with a helmet on her head, and it's not very pretty. So take your time. If you are coloring hair. This is from a book called Weird Cuties. We also have a crafting book with the pages in full color, and we also have a part 2 that contains more animals. Also some figures like this, but lots and lots more strange and cute animals. So I think both sets are very fun to color, and they can be used for lots and lots of things as crafting and coloring, and they are accessible for almost everyone and still interesting to color, at least I think. So let's see if I can turn it around a little bit. I can see it better. I'm blending these two colors in. Always go over the part I've done before a little bit, so you can already blend them before you start blending it with your liquid solution. Try to get it already looking pretty good. You can press a little less hard when you go over a piece you've already colored, so you don't get those harsh lines like I'm doing now. And simply blending them in now. Now with my pinkish white I am blending a little bit harder because I do want those colors to mix. So that is basically what I'm doing now. And here at the edges you can see it is starting to get a little bit darker. I will add even a little bit of this color. In a page like this, it's perfectly fine to give your girl some pink hair. Why not? It's a fantasy color. You can give it every shade you like. That's the fun side thing about fantasy coloring. You can just play a little bit more with your pencils. And I always like that. Come up with fun things. Why not give her pink hair? I think it looks good. And we also have the other puppets, so let's give them all a different shade of pink. Like I said, I'm going to use a little bit of vintage colors. It are pinkish colors, but they are not very bright, and that gives this vintage feel about it, and I think that looks very attractive. So I hope you agree with that. I keep looking, what am I seeing, how dark is my gray, and I'm going to mix all those colors together. At least 3 or 4 on one shade of hair. Always try to do that. 3 is the minimum to get a nice result. More is sometimes better. So maybe that's a good thing to remember. playing a little bit with it. It's not one way or one rule. You can of course play with it and use it the way you like. It's all okay. I am mixing a little bit of my darkest color in. You see big difference between this and this, all in one shade of hair. It's all there. So don't be afraid to use it. Some almost white highlights will look very nice when it's finished. Not so much this time, but still a couple that will look really nice. And let's work our way into those points here, the tips of her hair. I keep coloring shades of gray until they are all filled in. Let's see, we have this around her head. Maybe when it's finished we are going to use some black to just make it a little bit darker, but first let's see what's going to happen when we are coloring it with this beautiful purplish color. Hair are basically stripes, so when I'm coloring this I am trying to color in the direction the hair grows. So if I'm coloring skin, I make rounds most of the time, that gives a better coverage, but for hair I will do this in this way because hair are straight lines or curly lines, but it are always lines. So, and they always have an ending and a beginning. If you are coloring hair, you can play with your pressure. You can start and you press harder, and you can just stop pressuring, but never do this. Then you get this. It's not good. Just let it flow away. Then you have an ending and a beginning on a hair. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, because if you are put too much pressure on your pencils, it will not get very pretty. It's not necessary, especially with all the pencils you can buy now. They are super soft and they do not need lots of pressure. You have even cheaper brands now who perform really well in a very easy way, and they also perform well on this darker grayscale pages, so you do not need to press very hard on your pencils. If you wanted to buy a more expensive brand, for me this is the most favorite brand. If you do not want to spend so much money, you can go for the Faber-Castell Black Edition. I have to say I am very impressed with that pencil, or the Brutfuner, or the Colour pencils. They are also surprisingly well. So when I started coloring, you had artist brand pencils and you had kit pencils, and well, nothing in between. But nowadays you have so many brands to choose from, also for the ones who do not have a very large budget. And I can assure you the results are going to be just as pretty. If you are thinking about buying a box, it's always advisable first to buy some open stock, so you can see and try for yourself. Always use it on different paper, it does matter, and not put them aside too fast. It depends on the paper you are using. So maybe that's a good thing to keep in mind. Let's blend this side of her hair. Let's start here. And we are going to blend it in. Let's concentrate. You can always play a little bit with it. You can get this very smooth look. I have been accused many times of coloring digital, and people won't believe me and say this isn't hand colored. Well, this is why people saying it, because you can make a very smooth coloring with blending and some attention. So you see, it is possible, but a pretty coloring you can't make in an hour, or it has to be a really small one, otherwise it isn't possible. We show lots of tutorials on our group, from crafting, coloring, also digital coloring. I like that a lot, so I think it's very helpful for people who have, well, medical reasons why they can't color anymore, and then digital coloring can be very helpful, or simply because it's fun, because it is fun. It's fast. If you do not have so much time and you want to relax, digital coloring actually can be your thing, because there's always some time left to do that. With normal coloring, you cannot finish it in an hour, so you have to be more relaxed. You have to have more time on your hands. So, but it does give you very nice result, I think. I want to show you lots of videos about the colorings I'm working on. I want to let you see the end result, so I will share every piece I'm doing in a speed coloring or in a a real-time coloring like this. So this is an easy one. I'm also working on a Viking girl. That's a more challenging one, but I also want to show that one to you, because I think she's going to be pretty. And well, let's show you one puppet at a time and see where it's going. I wanted to do the background of this page with pan pastel. That's a fast way to do a background. You can do it with pencils, of course, but sometimes that's a little bit annoying, and I see lots of people struggle with it. So, but that's not for now. Okay, let's clean this out a little bit. You see, yep. Now it's gone. Blend it a little bit over the sides. Well, now we have beautiful pink hair. Sometimes I adjust a little bit. You can do that. You can go in again with your pencils and add some details, like here, some extra shading here. You can do that. Some extra lines. I think she looks really good. Let's color the other part of her hair. First, I'm going to sharpen my pencil. You can never color hair with blunt pencils. Then you can take a look a little bit to my colors. I like the luminanace because they have this paler shades and not only the very bright ones, because I do not like it when it is too bright. Most of the time it is not very pretty. If you want to color this with a Faber-Castell polychromos, you can do that, but the colors are brighter and you have to blend more. You can always blend it with the ivory color, So you can tone down the colors a little bit by blending it in with the white. But I think that's why I do not like that brand, is that because they are missing a lot of these paler shades. And well, for me, that's not always what I'm looking for. So, but sometimes I do use them. It's not that they are all bad, but they are not my favorite. And I know they are favored by lots and lots of other people. So, like I said, it depends on who you ask. I always advise to buy some single stock. I think that's always a very wise decision. And try for yourself what you like. Here you see those little pieces of darker gray, and I am using a little bit. Try to stay away from this because this is from the other girl's head. I do not put so much pressure because when you are going to blend this dark color, it will go a long way. So you can always test it on a paper before what is actually going to happen when you are going to blend. Try it. Or if you have a page that you well, made a mistake and you are not going to color it any further, I always use them to test things or try things out before I start doing this on my good page. So it's a good thing to test and simply see what is going to happen. And then when you have done this more than once, you start seeing it yourself. Of course, there is always a learning curve. Nothing happens by itself. For some it takes a little bit longer, but if you are willing to learn, you will get there. I know so. And you can always ask us questions on how to do things, and we will always answer you, so no problem. We will also going to do the basic things. How do you color lips or eyes, or well, simply those small things. Corey is going to do that with her crafting things. She has all kinds of stuff that I have no idea if she mentioned what it is. So we had the idea by simply starting to show you what all those weird stuff is she is using. And I think that is a good beginning, because you can actually do lots and lots of cool things with your colorings, and not only color them, because sometimes you made something really pretty and then you put it away, and that's a shame for a very beautiful coloring. So we also love to show you what else you can do with your pages. So keep following us, and you can see lots and lots of cool things. I won't be doing all those crafting ideas. I do not have the time for it, and it's not really my thing, but I know lots of you do like it. Like I said, I do love to make paper for it. I find out that I really enjoy that, so that is actually fun. I try to do something that isn't there and do it in my own style, and so far I think it looks really good. I hope you're going to think the same about it. So next month, and when this month is a little bit on its way, we will show you different papers and add new things to the group. So we will keep the excitement going. Okay, almost ready. Then we are going to do the clothes. I think that's always a very fun thing. Here we have the darkest part. Here, yes, I think this we can color in this shade. Those two colors of hair flowing in to one another, I think. But let's color this area pink. And let's do it like this. Let's let it run all the way to the ground. You can also do that later when you have finished the background. It's also possible. You can do that. Oh, and let's clean it again because we have some light spots. I almost forgot to do it, and it is really purple now on my tip, so it's not a good idea. So start blending from the top. Going to stay away from the middle part for now because I think it looks already pretty good. I blended it already with my pencil, so there's no need to do it again. If you want to try it yourself, you can get the page for free on the We Create Dreams page on Facebook. All the pages we are going to use from now on are available in our group. So, or if you see an older tutorial from me and you want to color it and the page is not there, you can always give me a message and I will send it to you so you can try it yourself. Of course that goes only for the pages I made myself, not the ones I have bought from other shops or got permission to use. They are not mine to give, but when I can, I always will let you know. So I'm blending it a little bit together so we end up with basically one color. No beginnings and no end. All the hair is going to flow over in a good way, and a little bit over her arm. When I will correct it, I'm going over it again with my yellowish butternut skin tone, and then you can get it away very easily. Let's see how it's looking so far. Like I said, you can also go in afterwards and make some adjustments, add some details, and I hope it also shows you have to be patient because it is a relatively small piece and we are already coloring quite some time on this lovely girl's hair. It is not going very fast. I cannot help that. It takes time. And now I'm already coloring way faster than I would do when I am coloring all by myself. So it's all in the details. I'm going to add some details again. Like I said, when you are finished blending, you can add some details again. You can do that. Here we have a part that looks a little bit strange. Let's blend it in with the white. You see, if you use white before you color everything else, it's very easy to correct because your color pencil won't stick on the white. So you can make use of that and actually get those bright white back again if you blend it over it by mistake. So maybe that is good to know. Okay, when you are not watching anymore and I can get a little bit closer to the page because of well, the camera is hanging right above it, I will adjust some details and make them a little bit better. But for now I cannot do that. It's impossible because I cannot see it. But I think we are doing really well. So, well, now she's finished. Now we also have an idea on what to do with her missing parts on her skin. I'm going to add on more shading underneath her hair, like here. And let's see, what are we going to do? Now we can give her a blush. Let's turn it a little bit around. We can give her now some pink blush because that's the color that will look pretty on her face. It's always a little bit in a half moon shape. It's going from here towards her lower part of her nostril. That's always how blush goes. You see what I'm doing? A little bit of a half moon shape. And we can use a little bit of the darkest color here on the sides. Not too much, because when we are going to blend it, it will go a long way. I will go and clean my blending thing again and see if everything is the way I hoped it would be. I'm going to take a little bit more time for it, so it's already a little bit blended in. And now I'm going to tip my thing in the blending solution again, and I'm going to blend it in, starting at the lightest part again and blending it in towards the edges. Sometimes you can even adjust it a little bit when it's wet with your fingers. I do that sometimes on bigger parts. And you can also use the pinkish white again to get that spot back in the middle and blend the part in again with what you have done. You only need a little bit of color now. It's a young girl. She probably would not wear lots and lots of makeup. We want to make it look natural. So I'm building my way up on with adding on slight areas of pink. And that is all I am doing for now. Where is my yellowish? It's here. Let's correct this piece again. And here. And here. It's still a bit wet, so it looks a little bit different still. But it will be fine when it's dry. Oh, it's not the right color. I almost used the wrong pencil. Must keep attention. Paying attention. It's also pretty when you are using a little bit of pink on the top of the nose. On the top, here, on this area. Do not know how to call it. Just a little bit. And that is good enough. Keep those edges nice and tight. So we are getting there. Let's show you how pretty the face can look. Let's adjust it a little bit. Okay, eyes. Eyes are never completely white. They're not. I'm going to look for a color I can use to show you. Of course. Oh, we can use this one. I have a pale green now, and I will use that here. You can also use a pale blue or a pink. I'm not going to use pink now because there is already lots of pink in the coloring. This is the shading you have under her eyelids and her lashes. And then I am going to use my white and I'm going to blend it in with that, and I'm going to brighten up the gray. If you have a decent white pencil like this, you can actually brighten up the gray. You see, it is now a perfect looking eye. So what colors are we going to use for her eyes? Let's use some let's use some orange here in the middle. You can also use yellow. Going to use a little bit around this, and I'm going to go for a bright blue, bluish aqua color. I want it to be really bright. Of course, this is not a normal eye color, but like I said, it's a fantasy coloring, so why not go all the way and exaggerate it a little bit. We have a dark blue. Let's sharpen that. Now you have to be very careful, because lots can go wrong with this, because this has to be delicate. So very light pressure. I would advise you to test it before you do this on a blank sheet, and actually try and see what is the pressure you are going to use. Lost my pencil again. I have already put it back in the box. Blend it in. Well, doesn't she look great? Now we are going to look for the black. Where is my black? Is this black? No. This is a very dark blue. It's almost black, so we can use that also. We won't see that. Of course, I can't find my black. Let's see if I turn it around in the right way. Yes. Now I am with a light hand. I'm going to add the details. Also coloring in her pupil. Trying to avoid that white spot. But it's not completely necessary because we have a very nice trick. I always let this part go up a little bit. You see, then she already has some eyelashes. Very stylish eyelashes without too much details. It's easy. And do it with a very light hand. Black on the inside. I always also use in this line, I'll use an extra color. It gives you more depth into your eye. Now I am going for brown. It's more pretty with a girl. If you would color a gothic coloring, you could also do it in black or any other dark color, or in the color of the makeup you're going to use. But of course, this cutie is not going to wear much makeup. We are going to keep her very natural. I can adjust this a little bit, and here in the corners of her eye, all teeny tiny details. They are a little complicated, but if you do not see the eyelashes, do not try to color them, and just do it like I did with the wingtip on her eye. That is enough to get it to look good. Okay, my blending stump, I'm going to use a little bit on it, and very gently I follow the outlines and those lines here, and that's it. Let's go and give her some eyebrows. I'm going to add on a little bit of color, not so much, you can't hardly see them, so the more we do on it, the bigger chance we have to ruin them. Let's not do that, and I'm going to simply blend them in. It's a bit wet now, but when it's dry it will look pretty, and later on I will add some details, but for now we are going to leave it like it is. And let's add some details to her eyes. Okay, I'm going to use my Posca pen, a 7mm, very useful tool. I'm going to give her the white back again. I always do a spot beneath it, and in the corner of her eyes. You can always do one here at the top, or here. You can give it some more shine and make the eye look more real. That bright spot really does matter, so don't forget to color it. Let's give her some cute lips. Here we are going to add some shine, so we are going to use this pinkish white again. I always do that at the first step. Here, the upper part of her upper lip, I'm going to color in pink, and I will use a little bit of the dark color here in the middle. That's enough. And then carefully blend it in. This is all we need on a small mouth like this. If it would have been bigger, we would have used lots and lots more colors, but we already used 3 on this small area, so but there's no room for much more, so let's leave it at this. Okay, her eyebrows are now dried up, so I'm going to add some tiny hairs. You see, that's all we need. And now I think she has an adorable face. Let's do this a little bit better. I always see things I want to adjust or make prettier. The better you get in coloring, the more things you see you would try and change. That's sometimes, well, complicated because I always see something. Okay, we can also use a little bit of the blackish blue here to give it a little bit more of a darker color here. You can do that. We have done that on the other side too. Just some more shading. You can also do that here around her head. Just a little bit. This color will go a long way when we are going to blend, but it's beautiful on the outline of her face, just to get some more contrast. Go around it just like you would do with your pencil, and do not try to blend it in too far. A little is enough. You can always do some with the other color afterwards, but for now I think we are going to leave it like this. And now it has some more depth. I think that is really pretty. You can also do that underneath her arms to get the same effect. There will be lots and lots of shading there, so let's do it here also. You can do it with black or like I did with this almost black blue. You hardly can see the difference, but it is a blue color. Well, I think that is pretty. Clothes. What are we going to give her for clothes? What would be nice? What is a pretty color with pink? Well, I think we already used some blue on the other girl, so it could be a very good idea to use blue here also. I'm going to start with a paler blue also here, and first I'm going to find those areas that are lighter. I do not think what it is. I basically simply color the shades. You do not have to think how a shirt looks like because, well, I already did that. The shirt is finished, so you simply have to color the shades of gray. How handy is that? So let's see. What shall we use? I'm searching for a pale blue. I have put my blues away out of this box. After Caranda's luminance added some pencils, and I have to say blue is not always my favorite color, so now I am desperately trying to find them again. I'm going to mix it a little bit with this yeah, it's a little bit of a aqua green kind of color. Let's see if my escape plan is going to work, because I cannot find my blue shades I was looking for. So let's try something completely new and out of the box. I never done that before, so I hope you see how easy it is to get away from to color away of the gray. I always do a little bit of everything to color it in one go. Make some stripes, some rounds. You can adjust that with your coloring pencil and get this covered smooth look. If you only would do this, you see it will get too pale, but just do a little bit of everything and then you will be fine. Okay, let's see, what are we going to do now? I am missing an in-between color. I have no idea where I left it. I really haven't. Let's see, what can we do? I have one from another brand, a Faber-Castell. And let's see what's going to happen when we are going to mix it with that. Different shades, some more greenish, some more bluish, all in one shirt, because I couldn't find the right pencil, but it will probably be okay. Here at the shade, at her sides, you see some darker color. This is a little bit too dark, so I am pressing less hard so I can blend them together. Do not put too much pressure, otherwise you cannot blend them in because the shades are too far apart. So I'm going to do it a little bit in a lighter variation. I think it will be fine. You see, you can mix and match all those colors together. You can also see the difference in this pencil brand. When I'm coloring on this paper with this brand, I have to put a little bit more pressure to get the same coverage as the others. But this pencil brand, the Polychromos, is perfect if you want to do some detailed work, because they are harder, and that also has its upsides. Okay, let's see what's going to happen when we are going to blend this. Sorry for tipping the camera. I do not want you to get seasick. cleaned it. I always see something again. It's not a very clean line, so I just go around it with my pencil. I think that's better. I think you will agree, hopefully. And I am starting at the lightest areas. The details of her shirt we will do later. Blend them in. Yep. And we are going from light to dark again. You can see you can use different pencil brands together. It's all possible. You do not need to use one brand in one page. Luckily, because I have really no idea where I left all my blue pencils. Blue is not my favorite color, so I decided to take them out because I do not use them very much. But I have to think very hard in what box I do left them. Okay, well, now, not too bad, I think. Let's sharpen my blue. And then the second girl is almost ready. It's always so nice to see a picture come together, those small parts. We'll also do a little bit with the Viking coloring this week, but not today. Coloring and talking is really a little bit tiresome, so I will do that another day when I'm fully rested, because that one is a challenging one, a pretty one, but challenging. I always love a good challenge. Okay, let's blend it a little bit in. If you do this very carefully, the lines are a bit softer, and it's most of the time it is a little bit more attractive to look at. So okay, she has a shirt. What kind of shorts would she loves to wear? Let's give her some bluish black shorts. I think that's nice. We're going to start with this bluish black. You hardly can see that it is black, so I use it a lot instead of the black. For me, this is a too dark of a blue tone because you simply can't see it. They are too close apart. And I am getting the shades in. We have folds here and here in the inner thighs we have the darkest parts. Now we are going to use this no, I have another idea. Wait, we have a plan B. I'm going to mix it with this dark red. I think that's prettier. Why do it all in one shade? Okay, let's see what's going to happen when we are blending. I have used two tones now. That's the easy way. Most of the time I use 3. Maybe we can add some details later, but I want it to be really dark, so let's blend it in. First I will go for the dark parts. Now stay away from the reds, and I will use a little bit more now because I do not want it to be all the way gone. And I'm blending the two in together, Now we have really dark red shorts. I think the red matches beautiful with the hair. I always think a little bit ahead on the colors I am using. And I think this is a pretty color combination. Make the lines a little bit sharper. Yep. I hope you agree that it does fit with her hair. And now we are going to give her some socks and some shoes. Let's do that a little bit in the same colors. Going to first start with those lighter details. Can you see it? Yes. Adjust it a little bit. I'm going to do that here in the middle. I'm going to use those pink colors. I adjust some more because I do want to see the difference a little bit in the colors. I'm going to sharpen my yes, I sharpen my purple and my red. Go around it. Going to mix the purple in with my red, and later on we'll use a little bit of black. Let's see what will come of that. I have no idea. Just started up on the spot. Like I said, I'm never organized in things I do. I just see what's going to happen. I always try to organize it, but well, I think that's very complicated. So now let's see what's going to happen. Most of the time it is actually working really well. Mix those colors together, and here some shading because they are a bit loose around her legs. And here we have some shading from the shoes. Let's see, let's blend them. So every puppet will have its own unique color, but they are still going to match together because I am thinking about the colors I am using. They are all a little bit in the same type of colors, not too bright, a little bit of a retro vintage look. There are lots of other puppets in this set. They are not so complicated. Well, I do not think this is really complicated, but it simply takes up some of your time. And if you give it some time, then you will end up with a nice coloring. Pay attention for the details. You can color it the easy way, but my dog is just arrived. If you hear some strange noises in the background, some moaning, it's my dog, it's not me. No, definitely not. Okay. Well, I think she has some very nice socks. I hope you agree with that. Do we get... Sometimes when you see this messy line, you can go over it again, or use a different pencil like this. No, not in this color, of course, to get it to look really clean again. Yes, like now. I think that's better. All the crumbles off. And now we have the shoes, and then we are completely ready. Can you see them? Yes. What kind of shoes are we going to give her? Let's give her blue shoes. Of course. Of course, I lost my pencil again. One moment. I am desperately trying to find my pencil. It was a small one, so now it is really gone. Well, let's use the green one. Then I would have used the light blue, but well, I have no idea what I've done with it. It is gone. You'll probably find it when we are ready, and I'm pretty sure I will find it again. It's not such a big deal. We all also have done that in the shirt, so we can do the same trick here. She's got matching shoes. I think every girl wants to have matching shoes with her outfit, so I think it's a good choice to do them in blue. I'm doing this the easy way first. I am using two colors because it is very, very small and with lots of details, so lots could go wrong. So let's do it the easy way. I'm going to blend it. You can still see the black shimmering through because these colors are very light. Then you do see it, but we want to see it now. I'm going to let's sharpen another one, not the very, very blue one. I have one that is a little bit less blue and still dark, but not the blackish blue, and color the details. Go around it and at those areas here that aren't colored yet. Okay, and where is my, seem to lose everything around me today. Found it again. And blend it in carefully. Just go over it lightly and you will blend in those shades. And that's all you have to do. And when you go over a piece that you do not want, like I do now, just go over it with your pencil again, with your lightest one, and you will blend it away. It is all possible. You can adjust a little bit of the colors like I'm doing now. I'm adding on a little bit more of the blue. And you can also give some small details with your Posca pen. You can do that. There are some brighter spots. I just going to add some small details. You can do that with my shoes. Just gently. It's all you need. And well, I think she looks good. Not too much details on all the puppets, but I use different colors, and that is enough to make it look really good. Go around the outlines, make them smooth. You can do the same. So sharpen it first. You could do the same with her hands. Add on some more color on her arm. Go around the edges, very gentle. Oh, gentle I said. Must listen to my own advice. And you can always go over it again with your blending stump to make it look less harsh. But always be careful not to blend the other parts you do not want. And so small details, but they do matter. You see, now they are more visible. Just a little bit, it's just enough. Okay, well, let's turn it around so you can see them. They are ready. Next time we are going to do one of the other girls, and then she is almost finished. I hope you liked it and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.